adding new problems and resolving previous problems on a diagnosis entry and in the problem list. From the client's chart, you want to go to the diagnosis form, click on Add, leave everything alone. You want to start in the far right of the form. Under Select Episode to Default Diagnosis Information From, you will click on the drop-down, select the U, Open Episode, then answer Yes to continue from the warning sign that will warn you of all unsaved data will be lost. Do you want to continue? Yes. Then select the diagnosis entry to default information from. You're going to go with the most current updated diagnosis. This will bring in the rows of the diagnosis, displaying anything that's been resolved and the row IDs. So that's what you want to see, the latest and greatest. Then you're going to select Update. You're going to enter the date of diagnosis. You're going to enter the current time. So most likely you're clicking on T for today and current button for the current time. You're going to scroll down, and first, if you're adding prior to resolving, you want to add first. So you're going to select the new row to add that new problem. Then you're going to look it up. Okay, and then you're going to make your selection. You're going to give it a bill order and ranking. So we will have to verify that there's already 1, 2, 3. So this would be the 4th because there is a result in there. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, it is an active. We're adding. And then we are going to enter the onset date. The same as the date of diagnosis. You're answering yes to add to the problem list, and the practitioner's name should be here. Confirm that we entered our selections. 1, 2, 3. Okay, looks good. And then we submit. Actually, prior to submitting, if we were resolving, we could stay there and resolve. So let's do that one more time. Okay, always the latest diagnosis. You update, you put today's date, current time, and we wanted to resolve, so we didn't really need to get out prior to resolving. We could go back up and make that diagnosis or problem, resolving that problem here. So let's select, maybe we will resolve the first option. So you have to click on the row that you're resolving. Click on the row ID so that it captures everything. Then you are going to go down to the status, and this is where it's going to get resolved. You're going to click Resolved. Now the resolve date becomes a mandatory or required field, so we're going to click on Today. And we'll go back up and confirm. So since we're resolving the first, the primary diagnosis bill order 1, that means that we are going to now change the bill order of the rest of our problem list or diagnosis. So 1 and 2 seem to be now resolved. We're going to select the second one and make that bill order number 1, making it the primary. You'll use your clinical expertise in this area. I'm going to go with the bill order and ranking order, but you will definitely use your clinical expertise to determine what's the primary diagnosis, secondary. So I'm going to select this third one and make it the secondary. So number 2, secondary. Now for the last one, third bill order, tertiary. Okay, let's confirm. So active problems or active diagnosis should not have a resolve date, and that is 1, 2, 3. And it's primary, secondary, and tertiary. So that looks correct. And we must also remember, we just resolved one of these problems. So we are going to go and do the same in the problem list. If we're satisfied with our entry, we will hit submit over on the left. It's going to give us a pop-up warning letting us know that some of these problems were already in our problem list. We say OK, and we're going to answer no to returning to the pre-display. Now we'll go into the problem list. Edit. I'm going to view and enter the problems. So since we resolved one of these, it was row ID number 1, we're going to do the same here in the problem list. We must resolve it by double-clicking on the status, going down to resolve, and we must enter the date of resolved as well. So date of resolved today, and I missed that in my earlier sample. It's practicing. It looks correct. Now I'm going to save. It's going to give me a pop-up that all rows are valid. And in order for these changes to take effect, you must click submit. Do not close out your form. None of the changes will take effect. So let's go ahead and make sure that these changes stick by clicking on the submit button. Okay, and that is it for adding new problems and resolving previous problems on a diagnosis entry and in the problem list.